and welcome to Theory Doctor. In this video, I'm going to be talking about media ecology. We're going to look at the origins of the theory, then we're going to define the theory, then we'll look at a couple of the theorists who developed and pushed the theory over the years, and then we'll look at how it applies to some of the issues that we're facing in society today. Sound good? All right. So media ecology is generally attributed to the work of Marshall McLuhan originally. Marshall McLuhan was a scholar at the University of Toronto in the 1960s and 70s. And you might know McLuhan as the man who coined the phrase, "the medium is the message," which is the idea that the medium that transmits the message is the message itself. That you can't separate the content of a message from the nature of the medium that transmits it. And the underlying ideas of media ecology are based on that principle from McLuhan. He developed the underlying ideas and really began to explore some of these themes of media ecology in the mid-60s. And it was based on earlier work by another University of Toronto scholar in the 50s by the name of Harold Ennis. That's why media ecology is sometimes referred to as the Toronto School, and because of that influence of the University of Toronto in the early years. The scholar that named media ecology and used that particular metaphor to symbolize McLuhan's idea was a man by the name of Neil Postman, who had quite a varied career. He started off as a public school teacher and then later became a public intellectual and then ended up founding the media ecology program at the University of at New York University, and wrote a number of books on the subject, on the collision of technology and society. And he is what one scholar calls the intellectual father of media ecology. And so, again, Postman took McLuhan's ideas originally and expanded them and clarified them. Now, McLuhan defined media ecology as the study of media as environments. The study of media as environments. And what that means is that he viewed it as ecological. That is, you cannot separate media from society. It's not possible. One of the favorite illustrations that Neil Postman liked to use in explaining media ecology to people was the idea of a beaker of water and red dye. And Neil Postman would say, if you took 2 or 3 drops of red dye and you dropped it in the beaker of water, you would not have a beaker of water with red dye in it. The red dye would literally change the composition, the appearance, etc. of the water itself. And that we can understand media and technology in a similar way. We don't get society plus the technology or society plus the media. We get society completely changed by the media, whatever that media may be. And I think we can apply that quite well to the debate over generative AI that we're seeing, and how generative AI is literally turning so many things on its head. We're not getting society plus generative AI. We are getting a society that is completely and totally transformed by generative AI. If you look at the professional job markets, they're not sure how to respond to AI. Higher education certainly has struggled to adapt because of the idea that once this technology comes out and once it's introduced, it changes the complexion of society. It's not additive. Think of the beaker of red dye, or the red dye in the beaker of water. Right? It literally changes the complexion of society, and that is the idea of media ecology. And so if I can review for a brief moment, media ecology grew out of the work of Marshall McLuhan at the University of Toronto in the 1960s. And McLuhan defined it as the study of media as environments. And Neil Postman took McLuhan's earlier work and expanded on it, clarified it, and really became what was known as the intellectual father of media ecology. And media ecology is really concerned with the idea that media is not additive. Media literally changes, and technology literally changes the complexion of society. And so an understanding of media ecology needs to start at the basis that all media changes society in certain identifiable and unidentifiable ways. And that's the theory.